All right, here we go. Simon says up, Simon says down, Simon says up, Simon says hands in your nose, hand in your nose. Simon says left, Simon says right, Simon says left, Simon says right, Simon says on your knees, Simon says heads up, down, down, down. Out.
What?
You're out.
I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything.
I caught you. I caught you.
I didn't do anything.
Get out of here! No, I feel bad. Come back here. I didn't say Simon says! Get out of here! Woo! Welcome back, Pit Crew, to the Pit Podcast. This is After Worlds, after an exciting adventures of high action, high info, and Steve Max.
Max, baby.
We'll get to that. Gentlemen, welcome back. Jason,
You're back.
you're back.
I'm back. I'm here.
So how was your thing? Like, I heard you went to Houston for Worlds.
A volunteer.
I was there. It was great. You should have been there. No, I mean, I had a ton of fun volunteering. Einstein finals was great. I think they've really done a great job kind of improving the whole finale experience from like the years of like 2017 where there was just like 25 minutes of just like dead air. It was great.
One of our last couple episodes, we like listed some stuff that we were looking for improvements on. Did you see any of those changes? Or anything different you noticed this year?
Okay, so volunteers got more than one shirt this year.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Good.
Like 2 shirts?
Like every day you volunteered, they gave you a shirt for that day, which is good. That's how they did it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But then they stopped. And last year they were like, here's your one shirt for your 4 days. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, 4 days now.
Oh, that's gross.
So, yeah, exactly.
Because you're not showering, and it's Houston, right? And the humidity and the
The
heat.
humidity and also just robotics people in general just come with like a natural stank.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like inferred that people, they don't, like, robotics people don't shower. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just like, we know.
Not true.
We
can
know.
tell. We can tell who
Yeah.
stinks.
Tell.
We can tell the stinky student, okay? And some of you stinky mentors too.
Which the 4 shirts is necessary.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this
But-
year they did give us a shirt for each day, which is great.
Okay.
In the past they gave us like little like goodie bags. Last year they didn't. This year they gave us some sunscreen and some lip balm.
Oh wow.
Lip balm.
First
holy
branded
crap.
or no?
Yeah. Or actually, I don't remember. Probably. Let's just go with it.
Okay.
So you got lip balm as well. And then
Yeah.
what other free crap did you get?
Sunscreen.
Chapstick. No, chapstick and sunscreen.
That's
Nice.
it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So not even a water bottle or anything
Nope.
like that?
No water bottle. No
Abs Appear sponsorship.
no hand sanitizer, which you think would be more applicable. But yeah, no.
I'm kind of surprised.
Do you want to hear about the food?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay.
It is about the middest you can get, which I mean, you take what you can. I'd rather have it be mid than bad.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's sometimes like they kill it with the desserts though. That's really what makes up for everything. But yeah, the overall volunteer experience was it was good. It's good. I do it every year. So,
Mhm.
Obviously if it was that bad, I wouldn't keep doing it, but no, I have a great time every year.
That's good. That's good that you were having good. So you were there reffing, correct?
Yeah.
And you had your own field. What was that?
My
What
own
was-
field.
yeah.
I was the only one there. They trusted me enough, believe it or not.
He was repping on a field, yeah.
On a field. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yep.
I got down to the field and they were like, "Oh, Jason's here. We're good, guys.
Yeah, we're done.
Pack it up. Pack it
Yeah,
up."
he's from Michigan. He's good. He's good. How was that dynamic like? How was your crew, like your volunteer crew? How was that?
The crew is amazing. Everyone who volunteers, everyone who refs they're all good refs. Well, they're all experienced refs. Some of them might only have one regional worth of experience in that year, but no, everyone's good. No complaints. Everyone's super friendly. You get to work with some people who have been around for like ever, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
I figured there might have been like some differences in like the regions where people are coming from.
Oh, yeah, no, there is.
And how making sure everyone's coming together and they're all on the same page.
So here in Michigan, the refs, we do a thumbs up or down at the end of the match.
Yeah.
They don't do that anywhere else.
No, because we got the digital ones now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, you
but-
tap on the thumbs up and that's it.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
at IRI, is it the same way?
Same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't do the. We just tap on it and then all good.
I felt like a loser.
I guess it's kind of a Michigan tradition thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like you stop doing it eventually, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's just you're just natural.
Yeah.
Man, my new favorite thing though, going to purple.
How often do you need to go purple?
Oh, we went to purple so often.
Wow.
I was so trigger ready to be like, can we go to purple?
Yeah.
Did you ever brought the thing that we did on Aptiv where when we had to go purple, we did the Jared Goff thing where we, did this over our head to count the L1. Did you brought that over to your field or no? Did you
I
have
have
just
no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
he wasn't there on Aptiv with us.
oh yeah, that's right.
No.
Oh,
Did you watch any Alliance selections?
I watched who was it? Johnson. I watched Johnson's. Went as expected. No real surprises there.
Quick.
Yeah. Oh my god, they were all so quick.
was
Good
nice.
rule change.
Yeah.
Good rule change. That was amazing.
I don't think I saw any skips. I woke up early to watch the fields in the Alliance selection. There was one that was interesting. A team, so it was Easter weekend, right? A team left because I don't think they were celebrating Easter, but a different religious holiday, like Passover related. So they just left. They left Friday, Saturday morning, and they handed a note to somebody to say, thank you for picking us out of respect, but they graciously declined because holiday. So they left. I thought that was interesting. I think they actually did it a couple years ago, so it wasn't the first time that they've done it. But I wish I could remember the team number, but that was a unique one for sure.
yeah.
You watch Alliance selection?
Not much, with the exception of it just Milstein, Newton, and Daly. Daly was
insane.
Was a spicy Alliance selection. I think.
Who did Epic Robots pick first? Was it Citrus or OP? It had to be OP.
I think
think
it was.
so.
It had been
Yeah.
OP. They declined, and then I didn't watch that part of it, but based on what I see from the Blue Alliance, Citrus Circuits not being with them, I assume like they try to pick them up. Citrus declines,
Yes.
and then they ended up picking some other, whatever team. Right?
Mhm.
Can't remember their number, but that was a smart play on their part to split up Citrus and OP. Because,
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
because like before, it was inferred that if one of those teams were seeded first, they were picking each other.
Insane. No, I mean
Yeah.
it's your duty when you get a schedule like that and you're at the top. Like it is your civic duty to torch the field.
Yes.
Because I think it was like OP, and then like a couple ranks, and then Citrus. Like you have to pick OP.
Yeah.
You have to pick them, and then so you can make them unpickable. That's how you play the game.
Absolutely. And it
Because
was
if you're not with them, you're playing against them.
right. So you might as well, shut them out and then make
Absolutely.
for some their own alliance.
That is the name of the game.
But it was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of sad that we witnessed basically an end of an era, right? Citrus Circuits not making to Einstein
It was tough.
because they won against OP their first match in the upper bracket, and then they ended up losing to the upper bracket to then have to face them again in the lower bracket. And I believe it was a bad auto that costed them the match. I believe they were down by like 20, I think 15 or 20 some odd points behind auto, and from there they were just playing catch up. And they didn't have the most algae in the barge already. So by that point, it was already like witnessing like history because they've been on Einstein for 10 years in a row since 2013. And they've been rock solid each year winning a world champ under their belt, and for them to not make it to this year, I know us old guards are just like, it's just, mad respect to Citrus Circuits and their run that they had.
Yeah, you could tell that they knew it was coming. You could tell that the students, they were hopeful. You could kind of see it in Mike's eyes that he kind of knew what was coming.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an end of an era either. I think they just had an unlucky match schedule division, whatever you can say. Like they're going to bounce back next year.
Right.
They're going to go back to Einstein and probably win the whole thing. So, sometimes that's all you need is to get kicked in the face for you to win the championship.
Yeah, come back right back.
Yeah,
up. And we know that Citrus, they're able to, do that. They're able to come back and, be stronger. And I think we kind of know that they're going to make it back to Einstein.
Why in the finale, why did they keep panning to their section to show us their team in the stands? Like they kept panning to them being like, remember these guys? This is the first time they didn't get reserve seating in 10 years.
True, yeah. First time they couldn't see in primetime seating, yeah.
Oh, God. The Einstein finale, so much better. Like I already said it, they improved it a ton in past years. But still, you just can't. The biggest thing is the viewing. Mm-hmm. It sucks.
It's tough, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And like we had we were sitting in like good seats.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could kind of see like one of the Alliance walls of Einstein mass or energy.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were lucky that we could see like just like any robot action. Like you couldn't make out anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then there's people all the way down at the end of the center watch on these tiny screens.
Yep. Awful. It's even worse this year because if you're not sitting dead center of the field, you're only going to see that Alliance. Because if you're sitting on red, you can't see blue and what they're doing at all. So you're only going to see half the field.
But this is another major gripe I have with champs. It's not just like the terrible seating experience, the terrible Einstein viewing experience, but it's they don't even have screens that are up to the challenge to do this because you're these 70% of the audience is reliant on watching the finale on these screens, and yet they still choose just inappropriately small screens. You can barely even see what's going on.
Yeah, and they're the LED boards, so the quality is not that great.
Right.
So it'd be nice if they had actual projectors or TVs or something.
It's not that they don't use this bigger screens anywhere, because like the middle three fields, they have the rigs of the 4 screens, that are meant to be used for the finale. But then on the other fields going towards the end, there's these tiny ass screens.
Yeah.
That's the inherent issue with convention centers, right? Because I understand that's one of the only other ways to allow the further out teams in the stands to watch Einstein is on those little freaking screens that you can barely see. I just kind of wish that first we'd just go back to a stadium filled event.
If
to where
only there was a venue where it could house the pits and 8 fields and also just have an epic Einstein experience. If only there was a venue.
Only there was a venue.
Yeah.
What venue would you guys consider then?
St. Louis. It's still there. It never got torn down. It's still there.
Is it actually
It's still there. It didn't get. The St. Louis Battlehawks
JD
are playing in that stadium for the UFL.
Oh.
So it's still there. I don't know if the convention center is still there, but the stadium is for sure there.
Okay, here's another thing. The Toyota Center.
Yeah.
I know you guys haven't been to Houston. You have.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basketball. It's right down the street.
It's not just down the street. It's kitty corner.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah, we got. Why
is Joe Hendry in the screen?
Pit Podcast believes in Joe Hendry.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there's some scheduling, right, with basketball, everything, because maybe they make playoffs
true,
or something.
Playoffs and stuff. Yeah, that's fair. It'd be harder to get it this time of season. Yeah,
like they had us years ago. They had us walking to Minute Maid Park.
Yeah.
Okay, 10-minute walk. Not that bad of a walk, but still having to relocate all those people. You probably lost at least 40% of the people attending. if you just, it's literally kitty corner. It's right there. It's almost perfect. This is a general theme with first. I feel like is like we're just always so close to perfection, but there are just these couple major things that just keep holding us back, and it never gets fixed.
Yeah, money and scheduling. That's all it comes down to, and it's unfortunate because I think for a moment, like for these teams and all these mentors that work their hardest for a moment like this, they should deserve a venue that puts them into the spotlight. Where everyone has the same experience of watching it on live in a viewable setting and see all the action clearly. That's what all these teams deserve for a moment like this, to where if First has the option, it's for me. I just hate the convention center setting for a moment like
It's not good.
But yeah. Oh, thank you, sweetie.
I bet it's super easy to plan though, which I know it's probably they like that. But it's just like, man.
Let's see what else we got.
Teams that stuck out to you guys. Well, who were you guys' biggest surprises? One of those being Poops getting knocked out.
Poops got knocked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I can remember is the finals at the moment.
Yeah.
OP doing pretty good. Kind of surprising. They stuck it out for as long as they could, but
everyone we thought
inevitably
that was going to be good was good, so there wasn't really any surprises there.
right. Strikeforce had an auto algae steal on Einstein. That was pretty hype.
that was spicy. Like,
That was pretty hype.
it's, for those that read the game manual, there is that whatever rule that they can't do. You can look it up yourself. Strikeforce being able to cross over the field, saying, "Screw you, we're gonna steal this algae and score it in our barge in auto," was like Cinderella. Right?
So I think you mean in previous years that was against the rules, but
no, like this year, like the rule of you can't cross over to the field and touch an opponent's game piece.
you can do that this year.
You can do that this year.
You can do that.
Yeah.
What was that foul for? Well, actually, I should have asked that. I should have asked that. I apologize.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize.
That's a good point.
So
I thought they got touched. I thought that's what they're flagging them, but
Anyways,
yeah,
no, that was sick. The energy in the room when they did that,
I bet.
insane.
I bet.
yeah.
Everyone went crazy.
I wish I could have
I
been there for
went
that.
ballistic.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing I've seen on Einstein in years.
Yeah.
So props to them for actually doing something different and taking risks.
Michigan just built different.
Thank you for not playing it safe like everyone else. Thank you for actually doing something entertaining.
Hype autos, yeah.
Because they were in the lower bracket too, so they had to go all out.
So obviously they they weren't things weren't looking good for them that match. Okay, so obviously they were like, you know what? They probably had the information that they wouldn't contact them, so they ran it as kind of as a last ditch effort, and it worked. So good on you.
Yep. Screw it, we ball, baby.
Yeah, screw it, we ball. That was amazing.
Go.
Best team. Favorite Einstein moment goes
Yep.
to you, Strikeforce.
Best Michigan team.
Thank you for actually playing the game.
Thank you
in
for
an
representing
interesting
Michigan.
way.
How we
Absolutely.
intended it to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We already kind of talked about some filler. What do you want to call it? Performances in between the Einstein events.
One thing that I wanted to point out in terms of Einstein is like the actual Einstein finals itself.
Yeah.
That the finals 2 and finals 3 were more or less lost because L1 was getting so filled that when 29-10 tried to put that one core, I believe in the last 10 seconds, they spilled 6 of them on the floor. High tide, same thing. They tried to put one in L1, knocked off 4, and tried to quickly replace those. Did not have time to climb back on the deep cage, and that's what costed both of those matches. And I figured it was going to happen. Yeah, it was going to happen where L1's getting filled. So it's all about careful placement.
We talked about this in a previous episode. We were all ready for L1
L1.
to become the differentiator.
Yeah.
And it just seems like they didn't practice it enough. They weren't prepared for that.
Well, I'm thinking they were prepared. It was more so like in the heat of the moment, they driver stick control, right? Accidentally knocked it off.
Maybe they prepared, but there's no way they thought it was going to be as bad as it was.
Madtown prepared. They said in there behind the bumpers that their strategy was to do balls and L1 because everybody else was going to fill the reef, and they're like, well, nobody's been prioritizing L1, so we're going to do it. And they did it pretty well, right? We noticed in Einstein finals that's all they were doing was just doing L1. Them and I think Madtown was still putting their coral horizontally, but Orbit was putting them hot dog style vertically.
Yeah,
because that's just how their suction cup was. But that was pretty smart. I feel like they could have lined up a lot more in L1. Looking at Jack and the Bots robot, that was really impressive machine. Looking at their behind the bumpers and what they got going on.
Yeah, it's crazy that high schoolers did that.
Being able to grip the L1 and put it onto grip the coral and put it onto L1 was pretty impressive how they're doing it with all their sensors. But they realized after finals 1 that they need to do something different. So they stole at least one ball in finals 2 and scored it in their barge, and that got them enough points to stay ahead. That made the difference, stealing the ball. So you got to steal 1 or 2 balls, and you got the W.
We knew all this was coming, right? We made the can grabbers analogy weeks ago.
We did.
So
I heard it here first. Pit Podcast, baby.
What do you think of Reefscape overall as a game? Now that the season's over, what do you think?
Good.
Yeah. I think it was very balanced.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a balanced game. There wasn't anything like groundbreaking that made it unfair, right? So I like there was options in the game. There was options of how to play the algae and placement of coral, because we knew that in like district levels you could choose how you want to prioritize coral.
Yeah.
Then worlds is up to expectation of you have to fill it all. So now how are you going to manipulate L1?
I like how the game evolved over time, kind of like last year how it evolved. Everyone went from just trying to get into the speaker to passing. In the same way it evolved this year, no one was doing LG at first, and then at the end it became necessary.
Yeah, you had to do.
You had to do it,
and you look like the processor too. Like early events, processors being used and being hammered, like worlds and playoffs. Nobody even touched it.
Why do you think teams didn't use the processor? No, hold on. Now, much more in playoffs when the barge was getting filled, right? It becomes very hard for human players to make the shot when the barge is already filled. Sorry, the net. Why do you think teams were taking the risk, putting it through the processor, and hoping that the human player misses, which would have been likely?
I think it was more so the risk of the human player tossing it and then the algae bouncing it out on top of giving the other alliance more points. Now, I understand that they only get 4 points and nothing more, but the idea of just giving points away just became not good anymore. You know what I mean?
What?
Like, what was I going with this?
Brother, you made the sandwich.
I think some of the top teams, they knew what they were doing. I think.
Yeah.
In some cases, they didn't.
Want to play it safe, unlike
I'll touch on that in a sec.
Some certain team represented by robotic gurneys that I know.
I think all the teams here knew what they were doing, and we kind of touched on this 2 episodes ago when we did our States/Worlds preview, where all the teams that go to Worlds, they come to play, and they're going to make sure that they win every single match, and that means scoring the most points that they can, and that means putting balls in the barge and not putting it in the co-op hole. I think the human players, I would like to say the human players at Worlds knew what they were doing. Some of them,
I saw a ton of misses.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some of them forgot that they had a ball standing right in front of them for 30 seconds. And that might have cost them a finals match.
Dude.
But
There's this one human player
yeah.
that had insane swag. Like, is there a LG around here? It's just that.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, this is what he did.
Yeah.
Pretend you guys, you're his team, all right?
Okay.
He goes 1, makes it 2. He's saving all the balls to the end. He's got his third LG. He does this. Sinks it.
Let's go.
wow.
That's awesome. That's pretty hype. I have not had a bad interaction with the human players this year. I think all of them pretty chill, pretty fun. Yeah,
They did
Been
it
fun.
fun. Yeah.
they've been good
Yeah.
kids, good teams we've been working with. All those kids have been wearing their safety glasses, but you know who hasn't been wearing their safety glasses?
The angle grinder
The
people.
angle grinder people.
Okay, all right, here's what's interesting. What was interesting is, yeah, they weren't wearing safety glasses. We all know that. But the sounds weren't real.
That's what we were saying because we were at home, and I'm like, how much of this is simulated versus how much of this is? Because I was gonna ask you,
Okay, so
well, how was this in person?
it was weird. Like, okay, like, yes, the angle grinders are making some noise, but like, we really couldn't hear it. We could only hear what was being pumped through the speakers.
Right, which was just the beat.
And then also there was this moment at the end. It was like the right before they give up on the angle grinders, they stopped doing it. Is when the track stopped, but they were still at it with the angle grinders. And when the track stopped, you couldn't hear anything, even though they were still doing it. You couldn't hear anything. So it kind of ruined everything. Kind of ruined the immersion.
I think the ankle grinder part was cool. Sorry, not you know, the safety glasses part. You got to wear your safety glasses and stuff and wear long pants. I think the idea of it was cool. The angle grinder part sounded cool. The blender, not so much. I didn't understand the blenders. And then they were throwing what were they throwing? They were throwing their drumsticks
Yeah.
across 2 ladders.
Yeah.
And they were banging on the ladder. So that was okay. Yeah. But they brought back our boy Simon Says.
For the 3rd year in a row.
And I love Simon Says so
that-
much.
that
You know,
man
he's
is
not
a-
bad.
That man's a
He's so
Chad.
awesome.
He's not
Like,
bad.
He's ruthless. You know how many, like, the first instance where he told everyone to raise their hand and everyone goes, you're out, you're out, you're out. Like, this guy, like, he's a menace, bro. He is a freaking Chad.
Kind of looks like Joe Hendry on our TV, huh?
So, oh my God.
Simon Says.
Simon Says believes in Joe Hendry.
What do you think about the Einstein's entertainment now? You know, in the past we've had Black Eyed Peas,
Do a whole concert.
Boys Like Girls, Christina Grimmie. Unfortunately, you can't have her again. You know what? And now we're at Simon Says, and some
Keep Simon Says, absolutely.
keep Simon Says.
I would rather watch the yo-yo guys than some guys playing with blenders. You know the big yo-yo guys that they're
Yeah.
throwing
Oh yeah.
at?
Yeah. No.
Those are also better in person than at home, I'm sure. But I would rather watch those than angle grinder guy lose an eye.
And then, like, it all goes back to money, right? We just
Yeah.
talked about
Mhm.
this. We talked
For
about
sure.
them cheaping out their volunteers all the time.
Yeah.
I
I mean, shoot, like even just like an amateur DJ concert, just like
Yeah.
So,
you
like,
just
a
got
dude-
everybody up
So,
and
dude,
dancing.
this
and
guy
stuff.
like his props and he just plays a Spotify music of a
It's
remix
fine
and
with
just
me. Yeah, if you
Okay,
like, if you let
so-
some students onto the floor and they just like
They have
dance
all
or
this
something?
floor space,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure. I don't think you're not allowed to go there because, you know, they have pipe and drapes
Mhm.
set up
Mhm.
to separate Einstein from the rest of the floor. I'm pretty sure you're just allowed to go down there and do whatever you want down there. So I'm surprised that the teams, like, all the way sitting at the end didn't just walk on the floor and walk up to be closer to Einstein.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's what they imagined when they laid it out. But no one does it until finals. People started congregating at the end of the Einstein area.
Yeah.
But man, imagine if you put like a DJ down there and everyone was just down there. It'd be so fun.
That'd be hype, dude.
Or just really any kind of like musical act
yeah.
that's like, you know, isn't just blenders,
and angle grinders.
Slash-
Just actual
slash
just-
drumline.
Just a real, just
Why would they bring
real
the drumline
music, I'm sorry.
in? Like,
Yeah.
dog, all these kids are in high school. You think they don't see drumline enough?
yeah. Facts. Every football game they gotta go to, basketball
Yeah.
game, yeah. Drumline
Last
comes
thing
in.
they want is people banging on stuff
Yeah.
at a robotics event.
I like drumlines. I wouldn't be upset if I saw them leave. I understand your point.
Where is Mark Rober? Where's Will.i.am? Why don't these people make an appearance
Where's
during Einstein?
William Osmond, Michael Reeves? Hit us up, guys. We'll get you down there.
Adam Savage.
Adam Savage.
This is all it comes down to is this.
Facts.
That's it.
Facts.
Which sucks, but all you scientist nerds.
We've got the same
here.
thing too. We got the same issue. Nobody's buying our merch. Nobody's giving us cameos. Nobody's giving us CTRE sponsorships.
Oh my God. I forgot to mention to you. This episode of the Pit Podcast is brought to you by the Bedford Express.
Okay. Okay, Chris,
you.
wrap it up there.
Pit crew, thank you for joining. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss another episode of the Pit Podcast. Leave a comment of what you think of Reefscape. We think Reefscape was... Well, I don't know about that, but right? So Reefscape was a thing.
You can
A
tell us
couple
how
booms.
Reefscape was on our Instagram account because we have the first Frenzy Challenge still going on right now. We're getting close to the end of that. So you can tell us what your thoughts are on that.
Follow us on Insta, TikTok, Twitch, and that question form. Fill that out. You want us to answer your questions? Fill it out. We got you. Check. And also, this is your last chance. Your last chance to get this beautiful, magnificent Pit Podcast
2025 tour shirt.
2025 tour shirt. You can get this at Royal Shirteries, powered by Royal Shirteries. New merch is coming soon.
That's
So
not the
we've got-
website.
Oh,
Shop.pitpodcast.com.
there you go.
Powered by Royal Shirtery.
Powered by Royal Shirteries. So we got new merch coming out, but if you want this one specifically, this is your last chance to get it. Freaking get it. And to all the teams, congratulations on a fantastic 2025 seasons. We hope you guys were prepared for the off season, prepared for the 2026 season, and what a show. What a Reefscape. Until then, Pit Podcast, we believe in Joe Hendry.
Someone says hands up.
Who
Someone
is
says
this
hands
guy?
down. Someone says touch your head, touch your nose. Oh, out.